Hello everybody, this is a bit of a different video. This is the top 5 decks I think it's best to climb with right now in Hearthstone. Before we get into it, leave a like and subscribe. And I'm using data from Vicious Syndicate and HS Replay, but also my own experience climbing to Legend this month. The first deck I'd like to talk about is Zoo Warlock. Now, I'm not talking about Galaclon Warlock. While it is popular, unfortunately there's a lot of face aggro burn decks out there, and Galaclon Warlock does not survive getting hit the face too easily. While Zoo Warlock has a 59% win rate, it develops wide boards of low-cost minions, and it has strengths of card draw because of the hero power. It's an aggressive deck because you're filling the board up with minions, and its weaknesses are burst damage. Because you're using your hero's life as a resource, burst damage kind of just gets you in the end. First card I want to talk about in this list is Dark Glare. Dark Glare says after your hero takes damage, refresh a mana crystal, and because of your hero power, because of cards like Flame Imp and Raise Dead, we can deal damage to our hero in our turn at low cost to refresh the cost and then fill up our board. Because we are manipulating our hero's life often with damage but also healing with cards like Spirit Chiller, we can create really cheap flesh giants, and 8/8s are hard for most opponents to deal with, especially if they are part of a wide board. And to close out the game, we have cards like Wicked Whispers, Minari Mosher, and Soulfire. Wicked Whispers helps to buff your very wide boards, Minari Mosher deals some extra damage and heals you, and Soulfire goes over taunts to hit the hero in the face for 4. The last card that's important I want to talk about this deck is Nightshade Matron, Expired Merchant, and Hand of Gul'dan. By playing Nightshade Matron or Expired Merchant, you discard the highest card in your hand, which is hopefully Hand of Gul'dan, and then you draw 3 cards as well as develop a minion. The next list I'd like to talk about is Libroom Paladin. Libroom Paladin has kind of found its place in the competitive realm of Hearthstone, and Standard Ladder has a 58% win rate. It focuses on creating zero cost spells, the Librooms, and creating big minions and dealing chip damage. Its strengths are big minions, we have a bunch of 8/8s in the deck, healing, we often heal for 8, but we are very weak to silence effects with this deck. The main package of this deck is Libroom of Wisdom, which is discounted by Eldor Truthseeker and Eldor Attendant. They very easily cost 0, and those 0 cost spells help with the Penflinger later in the game, as well as these minions being well statted and able to be buffed themselves with the Libroom of Wisdom, ultimately culminating in Libroom of Hope. Libroom of Hope creates an 8/8 and heals you for 8, and because of a card we're going to talk about later, it can be added back to your hand. That card is Lady Liadrin. Lady Liadrin allows you to add a copy of each spell you cast on a friendly character this game. Those are usually 0 cost spells, which are for Penflinger. We also run Animated Broomstick to retake the board, but Penflinger's role in this deck is to create chip damage and then close out the game by continually dealing 1 damage to the opponents. Finally, we run a ton of Cycle in this deck with Salat's Pride and Red Scale Dragon Tamer to draw another card that heals you for 8. A bunch of healing in this deck, a bunch of chip damage. Because there's a ton of aggro in the meta right now, Control Warrior is really good at managing that. At a 54% win rate, it controls the board and ends the game with a 30 plus damage combo. Its strengths are draws a ton of cards in this deck. We have a bunch of control tools, inevitability with a combo. We have a weakness because we really have to manage resources, because if we run out of control tools or mess up the combo, it's really hard to come back and win the game. The combo itself is ETC God of Metal, which we damage in some way, like Guardian Og Merchant, copy it twice to create 3 of them, then give our whole board rush with Animated Broomstick. This combo can deal a total of 42 damage, which we usually don't need to close out the game, but if your opponent can avoid that somehow, we have Rattlegore, which we can also copy, and 9 9s that continually come back are hard for opponents to deal with. We also run Risky Skipper and Armorsmith for armor gain. We can copy Armorsmith to gain even more armor in the mirror or in aggro matchups. Finally, we run a bunch of draw Ankar, pull specific minions out of the deck. Battle Rage works well with Risky Skipper and Armorsmith, and Cutting Class because we have weapons in this deck. We can usually draw 2 cards for 2, maybe 3. And even though Evolve Shaman is out of the meta now, we still have a Shaman in the meta with Enhancement, Aggro Burn Shaman at a 61% win rate. This deck focuses on going over minions with burn and weapons. Its strengths are high damage output, while its weaknesses are linear game plan. If we can't get the Doomhammer online, or draw Cage Match Custodian to draw Doomhammer, we have a hard time finding lethal. The main card of this deck is Doomhammer. Doomhammer is a 2-attack weapon with Wind Fury. We can draw it with Cage Match Custodian, or substitute for it with Inara Storm Crash, or augment it to deal more damage. Storm Strike and Rockbiter weapon also help to deal additional damage. With one of these we can deal 10, with two of these we can deal 16. And Lightning Bloom helps to cheat out mana, especially because this deck is oftentimes overloaded, so getting 2 mana crystals right now is very good. You can actually combine this with Diligent Note Taker to cheat out damage, to cheat out Rockbiter weapons, to cheat out burn, and just hit the opponent in the face and deal lethal damage. And the last list on my list is Whirlkick Combo Rogue, the deck I used to get to Legend at a 58% win rate. It creates value, burn, and tempo through combo cards. Its strengths are generation, we have a lot of value, we have a lot of burn, and we have a ton of draw and replacement in this deck, where its weaknesses are pressure and intricacies. Understanding how to navigate these hand sizes, these combo turns is really important to be successful with this deck. The main card in this deck is Whirlkick Master. Playing combo cards and shadow stepping this can just create a ton of value that's almost infinite. Some of the value generators in this deck are Evil Miscreant, Wand Thief, and Ferrocat. 2/3 of these are combo cards to work with Whirlkick Master. We also have Tempo and Jandis Barov, which we can Shadow Step, or if we get an Evolve Lackey, evolve one of the minions that's going to die. Questing Adventurer can also be made into a 7/7, 8/8, or higher pretty easily. We run Spy Mistress for early game tempo, and to stave off opponent's tempo and aggression, we have Prize Plunder, which can either deal with early game minions or deal with late game minions that are huge, like Librooms. Thank you so much for watching. If I did not include a deck you're having success with in the video, it's not because that deck isn't good, it's just because the data or my own experience didn't reflect that. So guys, thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Leave a like and subscribe, and take it easy.